Coach Mike McConathy, your team rallied, and that's understating the issue, to win at Nicholls on Wednesday night. Talk about how your team came from 19 down to win.
Well, we finally were able to put together some defensive stops and turned it into offensive plays. We got some steals out of our full court pressure, and were able to make some headway. In the first half, it just seemed like that, everything we tried to do, we couldn't make it happen, and then offensively we were just inept. But the second half, we were able to get some good things going. We had 11 points out of James Holman in the second half. Lewis Ellis had a steal that resulted in a bucket. Demetrius Jacobs had a steal, resulted in getting us a bucket. We just did some things that were a lot more positive.
Get you off to a 2-0 start in conference play. Do you look at it as a 16-game season, or are you doing as you did last year and trying to divide it into quarters?
Well, honestly, I've been looking at it the way we always looked at it. We haven't really talked to it about the kids, but I think that now that you brought that to my attention, we'll put that up on the board and say, okay, we're 2-0 at this stage. We need to go 3-1. You need to win every quarter. If you win every quarter, then you can win the championship. And so that'll be something that we'll talk about tomorrow, and I appreciate you bringing that to my attention.
Talk about William Mosley. He is over that hump, so to speak, now, and 25th, actually 24th in NCAA history in block shots career. Did that with 6 blocks last night, and that was not the only good part of his game last night.
Well, William Mosley is a special player that many people will wish that they'd come and seen him play, because he's a guy that in the history of Northwestern State basketball, I dare say there's been anybody that could impact the game on the defensive end like he has. It's ironic that he passed the Dior Fisher, who played at Northwestern in the block shot category yesterday. But Dior was not near the complete player that William is, because Dior could make a play on one end, then make an offensive play on one end, make a defensive player immediately on the other end, because he has such a high motor and he's just a team-oriented guy. Not that Dior was not a good young man, but William just possesses something that you just don't see very often.
All right, your team last night shot free throws extremely well. It's an encouraging statistic, but is it something that you had any expectation would happen? Well,
we've been doing something a little different in practice, and I think it's helped us that they have to make 80%. If they don't, they have to have some reminders, and I'm hopeful that's been beneficial. But I also think the game was on the line. We were focused, and we had to step up there and we had to knock them down. But you also have to look at it. We made 7 out of our last 8. William Mosley made 3 out of 4. Gary Stewart made 2 for 2, big free throws there with about 9 seconds to go, I believe. That stretched it back out to a 4-point game. So we did a good job with that, and that was very positive.
Okay, let's look forward to Saturday. Central Arkansas.
Just a second before you go any further. We would be remiss if I didn't say that Coach Black had left the women's staff and come in and spend a little bit of time with our guys, and I'm eternally grateful to him.
There you go. There you go. All right, let's look forward to Central Arkansas Saturday, 1 o'clock. Should be a very fast-paced basketball game, I assume.
Yes, they're very talented, probably from top to bottom as talented as anybody in the team. They brought in about 9 new players, maybe 10, getting after you, getting up in you. They've never seen a shot that they don't like, which that's fine. I mean, and we've just got to be able to guard off the dribble, and we've got to contest shots, and we've got to rebound the basketball, and we've got to take care of the ball ourselves and try to make their speed play to our advantage, even though we like to play fast as well, that we can put it in a position to where we can make plays.
All right, Coach Jennifer Graf, briefly let's recap the game last night, and having had the opportunity to sleep on it, maybe watch a little tape. What do you see? What do you know?
Little sleep. I thought we started the game very well. We were executing our offense for the first 12 minutes of the game. we played exactly the way we needed to play for 40 minutes in order for us to win the ball game. I thought defensively we were doing our assignments. We were doing a great job of trying to contain their 3 top scorers. And on the offensive end is where we really were executing. We kept the floor spaced, and we're getting the shots that we wanted. We turned it over a few times. Had about the 7 or 8 minute mark, and then it kind of snowballed after that. We didn't keep the floor spaced like we had the first 12 minutes of the game, and I felt like the whole rest of the game, once we got behind, we were in that frustration catch-up mode and didn't go back to what made us so successful the first 12 minutes, which was having the floor spaced, setting good solid screens, and attacking the basket. We got frustrated, and that usually doesn't play well for us, and it didn't last night.
Yeah. All right, now turning the page, looking forward, UCA Saturday up in Conway. Obviously a very fine basketball team, but a team that you beat there last year. Talk about the challenges that your team faces.
Well, you know, we play UCA on Saturday, and of course we're going to be scouted and ready for them. And like I've told our girls, personnel is very, very important for us. I think with our lineup, we have to know the other team's players. We have to understand exactly how to defend them. And so that is important of who we're playing and knowing personnel and knowing how to defend. I think more important is us right now because we're defeating ourselves. Texas State, Nicholls, very, very good basketball teams. A lot of veteran players. UCA is the same way, and I think our league's kind of that way where we have a lot of veteran teams in our league. They're very consistent, very solid teams. I think we're defeating ourselves in a lot of ways because of our turnovers, because of our frustration level. We've got to start digging in a little deeper, and I've loved my team's commitment since we've come back from Christmas. You know, we've had a few hard knocks, and we keep coming back and keep fighting and keep fighting. Well, we have to keep that mentality. We have to come into practice up at, you know, these 2 days leading into UCA with that same commitment, with that same fight of knowing that we're going to get better and not get frustrated, because we got to get out of that frustration mode, and we got to just keep competing, and keep focused. So I think the tension is more on ourselves heading into Saturday's game and making sure we're executing our offense, we're executing our defense.
How much can that win last year be a positive for you?
Well, you know, 6 of our 7 players are returners from last year, so they know we know personnel and teams, and we remember, you know, going up to Conway last year and defeating UCA up there. So we know the environment. We know it's a very tough place to play. They're 8-0 in their home gym right now, you know. But I think our kids can build some confidence off of that. You know, they've already said, you know, they remember that game. They remember going up there, and they knowing how hard of a fight that was. The whole entire game was just a battle back and forth. And we understand that that's the way most of our conference games are going to be, and it's a battle, but we have to go in there with confidence.
All right, you're 2 games into the conference schedule, haven't won yet. It's a 16-game schedule. Is there a point where you say, we really need to win this game?
Well, we really needed to win the last 2, and I know every coach says that you go into it 1 game at a time, and you're focused on 1 game. We can't look at our record right now and get more frustrated, because that's what's not playing well for us right now is our frustration level. We have to just scale back and just go back to fundamentals, go back to what works for us, and stay focused on that, and stay focused on this 1 game of knowing we're going into it. And yes, like I said, we're going to be scouted and ready for UCA, but we have to stay positive and we have to stay focused on what we're trying to do.
Okay, Meredith Graf, guard for the Lady Demon basketball team. Let's talk first about last night's game. The team, again, gave a very good effort, but ran into a Nicholls team that played very well. Give us an idea of what happened last night.
Well, first of all, I do think Nicholls has a solid team. They've got 3 girls that are pretty much averaging at least 15 points a game, that they play well together, they're smart. But honestly, we just didn't execute. I think that our game plan fit perfectly with them. You know, we were trying to deny them as much as possible and be smart, because obviously we have a limited number of players. So, you know, it's critical that we're just smart throughout the entire game. And now, unfortunately, we can't heat up people the way we would like to, or and basically utilize our speed as much, just because we don't have so many players, so we can, you know, make it throughout the rest of the game. But honestly, just didn't execute. You know, we had spurts where we did do good things, and we did things the right way, the way we were taught. But you can't do that for half the game, or we have to play 40 minutes.
Okay, let's talk a little more specifically about the challenges with the personnel issues with the team. and how you guys have made that adjustment mentally and emotionally.
Well, I will say I feel like we've taken it well in a sense at times. I mean, of course, it's very discouraging when you see one more girl go down because, you know, it does wear on you physically and mentally. But I feel that our group has come together and we've recognized, you know, what we have is what we have, and we're going to make the best of it. Now, that means that we all have to step up in different ways, whether it's scoring more, rebounding more, being smarter. You know, there's all these different challenges that it brings, but I do think that everybody's aware of it and that we are trying to get better at, you know, stepping up in different ways.
All right, you had 11 rebounds last night. How does that happen?
I don't know, honestly. You know, some nights you kind of get lucky and the ball just comes your way, and I think that was kind of one of those nights. I personally felt that since my recent ankle injury, I didn't feel that comfortable as shooting as much. So I was going into the game, I was thinking, you know, if I don't have open looks, I got to make sure I do something else. And so I tried to focus on rebounding more and trying to do other things that could help us out.
Last Saturday you rolled that ankle pretty good, and Coach Graf thought you were done for the day at least, but you came back a few minutes later and played, and then you played last night. Are your teammates calling you Kobe?
Not hardly. No, they did respond to me well though. They were very encouraging. You know, they were like, we understand. You know, and the thing is, everybody's got bumps and bruises right now, and is beat up. So it's honestly just something else to add to the list. So it really wasn't a big deal to anybody, I don't think. I did sit out of practice for the next 2 days, not necessarily by choice, but I think it was a smart move in order for me to be able to play and to, you know, for the rest of the season, honestly. But you know, you can only just deal with what you got, you know, and make the best of each situation. So I think I'll be just fine, and we'll just keep rehabbing and, you know, getting stronger.
All right, let's talk about UCA going forward. I know that you probably haven't watched any tape or looked at the scouting report at this point. However, you know enough about UCA to give us a little bit of an outlook for Saturday's game, what are the challenges facing the Lady Demons up there?
Yeah, UCA, they're a solid group of girls. They play well together, I feel like. They do have one girl, Megan Aber. She's averages double-doubles almost every time pretty much since she's been at UCA. So we'll definitely have to put up with her. But they're a smart group of girls who play well. I feel like they use each other well. We will have to, you know, be smart once again, and more importantly, our effort has to be a constant. And I think that's probably the biggest factor. You know, I feel like that we know the X's and O's of our defense and offense and other people's and everything, but it's about effort and it's about being smart and playing hard. And when we do those things, we give ourselves a much better chance of winning. And I feel like we did like that at Texas State. We just came up short, honestly. So I feel like our effort was lacking last night in certain times, and that was critical, and it cost us. Nicholls is not a much better team than us, but they were smarter than us, and we just didn't put forth the effort that was needed to make ourselves a contender for that game, honestly.
Last year you went to UCA and won. Does that help yet?
Yeah, that's always a good feeling, you know. That was a huge win for us. I remember it pretty clearly, actually. Yeah, it was a hard-fought game, and every game is going to be like that for us. So honestly, I don't really take one game as, you know, more serious than the other because they're all just as serious and just as important. So I feel like if we come out, you know, with our minds focused and, you know, the effort has to be there, and we have to make our own luck, honestly. We have to make our own hustle plays every single game. So it'll be a tough game, but I expect it to be a good one.